record on this computer. Okay, Carol, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually going to introduce John, my husband, whom everybody knows, I'm sure. John is now president of EEE, and he was just going to say a few words. He's going to take my chair.
It's fine to keep the mission statement up because you all know what I look like and it's not very appealing. But I just wanted to say thank you all very much for being the evac team, because you guys are really the elite troops. You're why Doug and I do the comms and the staging to make you guys successful. And Carol is going to share with you some really nifty stuff that has happened over just the course of the last couple of weeks. The momentum is quite, I would say, extraordinary. As R.C. Helton, the new emergency management guy, said, no one can believe that we have taken EEE this far, this fast. And I am first in line of being incredulous about it. So I'll thank you very much. And now back to work.
Back to work. Okay.
Carol, you have to unmute. Unmute.
How did that happen? Okay, so anyway,
It's John's fault.
guys, you need to have your evac at a glance, your clipboard, and your binder. So if you don't have them, go grab them. And while I make the introductions. Doug, thank you very much for running this slideshow. Really, really appreciate it. Wanted to introduce Robin Reiner. I think she's on the call, but actually she's in the photo that you see. That's Robin and Terry Morgan at a call out. And I'd like to introduce our evac management, which would be me and Robin, and also Linda Hess, whom you've been talking to, and Nancy and Val Valente. And of course, our comms management guru, Doug Terrio, and I believe Ron Purcell might be on the line. That's Ron is his co-lead. And horse management, we've got Trish Demure on the line. Thank you, Trish. Sue Cousins, thanks Sue for coming. And also Barbara Renke. Also, I want to really welcome our new members, Matt Fenn, who is a wonderful horse trainer. And importantly for us, he has an 8-horse trailer. This is just a real coup for EEE. Rhiannon Davies recently moved here. She is working with Dr. Martin Vidal down at Cave Creek Equine, and Lori Holton, who is not with us tonight, but she's another great co-pilot for us. So here's our mission statement. There's a lot of exciting updates for us. First, before I forget, I got to tell you guys, as of today, we have general liability insurance coverage for EEE to protect the organization and all of you volunteers from lawsuits during training and operations. This is unbelievable. It wasn't cheap. There was one company in the whole country that does this stuff. We made the connection, and more will be coming on this soon. It's like a 70-page document, which is unreal. Also, as John mentioned, we are now a 911 resource, not just for the city of Prescott, for the entire county. So that brings more responsibility for us. We've got to not only function professionally, and that's why we have to do this training and all the paperwork that you see, but we need to look professional. And that means the hats, the badges, the binders, the clipboards. And for the rigs, that means the visors that Craig, he just showed me, and the logos on the truck. So that's really, really important. And I must say, Robin and Terry do look quite professional in that photo. Okay, next slide, please. Tech rescue. Okay, we do now have that capability. 4 of us has taken this training. That's us on the left. Believe it or not, they tipped a trailer in our yard and we're bringing it back up and rescuing a 600-pound mannequin. And on the right is this fabulous photo of Trish. She has just done a vertical lift with a piece of fire hose. And this is great. We've got the training to do that. Our instructors are Chief John and Deb Fox. They are nationally renowned instructors for this, and they're going to come up in probably May or June, depending on COVID, and do a 3-day training for us. So if you're interested, just let me know and we'll sign you up. I think that we've got like 3 or 4 people already coming to that. Now, we did put in an application for the Horse Lovers Foundation to get a grant for technical rescue equipment. It's quite expensive and it's quite specific. We just heard today, we're supposed to hear by the end of February. We just heard today that we're not going to know for quote unquote a few weeks. And this is quite disturbing. So we are actually going to go ahead and get a few of the essential things we need for this equipment. And we were just awarded by Central Fire, I think, 4 50-foot fire hoses. So we can make this vertical lift that you see if in a pinch. Okay, next slide, please. All right, one of our biggest improvements this year is in communications, thanks to Doug Terrio. Most of you remember our last drills where we constantly needed to be texting back to comms. Well, we don't have to do that anymore because comms will keep track of us. It's a really wonderful thing. We do have 3 points of contact. It's the owner with the rig, with us, and the rig escort. Now, we used to call this the pilot vehicle, but everybody was grumbling about it because it was so confusing. So it's now forever going to be called the rig escort, and we're not changing those SOPs again. The rig escort is a great thing to have because it goes ahead of the rig, tells us where it's safe, how we can turn around, and all that stuff. It's great to have. We will be able to talk with the rig escort via cell phone or most likely via handheld radios. Very simple ICOMs, push to talk. The rig escort will probably include a ham operator who can talk directly with Doug and his team at comms, which is really great. And that's our 3rd bullet point. Comms will keep track of this at least every half hour, which is really, really wonderful for us. Okay, thanks, Doug. Okay, and we've got that new function that I mentioned in orientation. It's called the horse management. Just created like 6 or 8 months ago. The horse management is going to help evacuators. And they keep track of the animals coming in and out of staging. There's a clear chain of custody. So that's really great. The horse management acts as sort of a buffer for the county shelter because we can hold animals at staging until the shelter or someplace else can take them. It's a really good thing. So evacuators, when you arrive at staging and unload your animals, the horse management is there to help you unload the hay and everything else you brought in with that animal. They'll take your paperwork, plus they'll help you clean the trailer, get it sanitized, and you get you back on the road again as quickly and efficiently as possible. This is really, really nice. Also, you can call the horse manager when you're a few minutes out, just to let them know you're on the way. It's a great thing to have. Okay, next slide, please. Staging. Okay, we now have 26 staging areas around the county. And we actually lost 3 of them this year because the properties were sold. But we feel that 26 around the county, we're pretty well positioned at this point. I put up this one as an example because we will be doing our drills probably at American Ranch. And we've got a horse management drill this coming weekend at American Ranch, this Sunday. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, here is the checklist for preparedness. Now, truly, don't feel you need to go out and buy all this stuff. A lot of the stuff you already have, but there are a couple things I really do want to talk about. The first one is logos, the ones that you put on the sides of your truck. They're like a 12-inch logo, magnetic. We've had a little bit of an issue with flying logos. And don't worry if you do lose one, but there is a way we can keep from losing them. And we've discovered this over time, is to keep them completely flat under like heavy books until they are really flat. and then you throw them up on a refrigerator or a metal cabinet, something like that. So that'll keep them flat. If there's any way the air can get under them, they'll come flying off. And we really don't want to scatter our county with triple E logos. Extra halters. We were just donated 30 extra halters and leads, which is great, because we feel it might make sense to have extra halters and leads, one for each slot in your trailer. In other words, if you have a 3-horse trailer, you want to have 3 halters and leads extra. So we do have some. Just let me know what you need. Now it has duct tape on here, but it doesn't tell you the color of the duct tape. So most people would probably just say black, but we're using duct tape actually to label the hay and equipment and all the stuff that comes out with the horse. So if you tear off a piece of duct tape and put it on and try to write on it and it's black, nothing's going to show up. So for your duct tape, try to make it gray or some kind of light enough color that you can write on that. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is very important to us, are the wire cutters and the bolt cutters. Recently, and I think a lot of you are on the line, and I thank you, Prescott Valley, we are doing an in-depth survey of Prescott Valley, and about 5 of the evacuation teams are doing this because there are 3 main arteries in Prescott Valley, and the crossroads, sometimes they're on the map, but they're not really there. They're on Google Maps. They're not really there. The other thing that's happening is people putting fencing and gates across those roadways, because it's quite possible we could get in there and get stuck. But like I said, we're doing an extensive survey. Emergency management of the county is very interested in the survey. We're going to put photos on top of a big map and present it. They're excited about it. But in the meantime, I'm thinking we will need wire cutters and bolt cutters just to be sure we're not going to get stuck in there or anywhere else in the county for that matter. So these are expensive. And what I'd like you guys to do is text me. You might have this stuff already and you won't need it. But if you need it, let me know. I'm going to present this to the board of directors and see if there's a way that EEE can pay for these wire cutters and bolt cutters. We'll issue them to you. They'll still belong to EEE, but at least you'll have them. So that's the last thing. Okay, thanks, Doug. Trailer inspection. This is great. Last year, Bob Skinner, who is Dr. Skinner's dad, did our trailer inspections, and it's mandatory because of the insurance we just got. And he's going to do it again for us this year. He's a great guy. And Karina, thank you. You set that up for us. It's going to be May 2nd, which is a Sunday. And like last year, we're going to do the inspections at 15-minute intervals. So write that down, May 2nd, and get a hold of me. Let me know what time is good for you. Well, I think we started in the morning last year, so we'll probably do the same. Okay, next slide, please. Early notification. I'll tell you what, we are so lucky. We have Linda Hess and Doug Terrio on our teams. Linda does absolutely up to the minute information from everywhere, and she puts it on our Facebook page. And Doug monitors all of the first responder frequencies. We couldn't be in better hands, guys. We have about 400 people that have joined this group, this Facebook group. So a lot of people are looking at it for information. But oh, there's another thing I wanted to tell you. We've got a rollout this month of something called Eyes on Yavapai. And Michelle, I got to thank you and Terry and the other folks. You guys gave us this idea. Eyes on Yavapai is if you see something, say something. And all our staging areas are on board with it. All those owners, all the EEE volunteers are going to be part of it, and horse facilities. We've talked to a lot of facilities, and they're excited about being part of it. So this is going to roll out in March, which is great. As far as notification of our evacuation teams, if there's some incident, and the activation team feels that we need to send out something to you guys, Doug will send out a no reply message from comms to everybody in EEE. Just telling you something's up, we know there's an incident, just be aware, blah, blah, blah. Guys, that's probably when you want to get your stuff together. your go bag, your hat, your binder, hook up your truck, put on those flattened out logos so that you're kind of ready to go. Now, if we are going to be possibly activated, the evac lead, either myself or Robin, will actually call you or possibly text you if it has to be a fast action, and ask you, are you available? Can you be on standby? If you're not available now, can you tell us when you might be available? And that I would like to get a reply back from. Okay, Doug, thank you. Sorry. Okay, there are 3 phases of an incident. I don't have to go into this. We all know it's pre-evac. That's before an evacuation is declared, during evac and post-evac. But what's important to us is how we're deployed. And it can come in 3 ways. We could be deployed from home. It's called a virtual operation. In other words, you will get the information that you need to deploy from home. It's actually a good way of doing it because you don't have to sit around a staging area. But the second way is, of course, to be at one of our 26 staging areas. Now, there's a third way, and I do have to talk about it because it's happened to us twice, that county sheriff has asked us to stage in a particular place. I think the first one was the cellar fire. We staged along the road next to the roadblock. The second one was the horse fire last fall. They asked us to come out to Mare High School and stage there. Just 2 trailers, just because of Crown King. They didn't know if there were more horses there, and there weren't. But I want to kind of use horse fire as an example because it was very interesting. While we were there, the incident commander from that fire was at that staging area because he had a TV interview. And afterwards, we got a chance to talk to him. And it was very interesting. He said, Carol, we have no control over that fire right now. And he's looking over the hills toward Mare, and he says, that fire could come over those hills like in the next day or 2. He said, you might want to get your teams ready for that. Put them on standby. And guys, thank you for all of you. We had like 7 to 9 teams on standby in Dewey and Prescott Valley. It was fantastic. And then we had 3 teams on standby in the Will Hoyt area. It was great. And we got a lot of thanks from County Sheriff and Emergency Management for that. It was just a wonderful thing that you guys did. So thank you. Okay, next, Doug, thank you. Okay, you saw this orientation. I'll go through it really quick. The request for assistance, we call it the RFA for short. That comes in from our dispatch hotline. That is a form, we'll look at it. Or we could get a request from 911 or a first responder. Those requests feed through emergency management, and we assign the evac teams that can take these missions. Then comms management tracks us from A to Z, which is great. And the implementation, it will either be virtual, or virtual meetings, you're coming from home or from a staging area, either ours or YCSO. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so let's get operational finally. Okay, get out your binder and your clipboard and your laminated cheat sheet, that evac at a glance. Everybody have it? Good. Anybody need more time? Just speak up. Okay, we're cool. Remember orientation, I mentioned that the driver and the co-pilot are the only ones, maybe possibly other than the owner, who handle the animals. Other than that, the driver's main function is to drive, that's it. And the co-pilot does all the paperwork. And that's true, but for right now, since we're all kind of alone in our rooms, let's all do the paperwork, just so you don't get too bored. So we know how it's done. It's kind of important for everybody kind of to know this. Okay, if you look at the screen, the EEE binder is on your left, that's closed, and on your right, it's open. And you can see that there are 3 things sitting on top of it. The first thing is that on the upper left is a twist stick. It's a bright pink livestock marker. It can mark any color animal, trust me. And the marking lasts about a week. So don't have a panicked owner tell you, oh, you've marked my horse for life. So it's not true. Underneath that is a nice big roll of red ribbon. And that is for tying into the tails of animals who bite or kick. Hopefully we'll never have to use that whole roll. On the right are just paper clips for clipping the paperwork together when you're done. I just wanted to show all this stuff to you. It's going to be in the back of your binder. Okay, so now take a look inside your binder. The most important forms for us right now are that questionnaire. You see it on the left, it's in the front. That's the guideline we'll be using when we call the owner. The next thing is in the intake form. That's the obligatory form we'll use for the animals that we rescue. And the waiver, that's another thing for the owners to sign, the EEE waiver. That's for liability. And we told the insurance company, yes, we have a waiver, and we sent it off to them and everything else. Laser, it says laser waiver. I don't think I can say that twice, but that's our county shelter for large animals. And if the animal is actually going to go to the county shelter eventually, and the owner says, yeah, that's where I want the animal to be taken, they can sign that waiver as well. So it makes it kind of easier for the county shelter. Other than those things, keep looking in the back. Those are our staging areas, they're right there. Then there's that preparedness checklist we just talked about, all the things that you want to have in your rig. And then there's the SOPs, which are the standard operating procedures. It does sound very boring. I understand your pain, but I want to take a minute and talk about those because they have been completely rewritten and revamped, and now they are very clear and very good. And I got to tell you, each darn one of those SOPs took us, I'd say, what do you say, Linda, about 8 hours to complete. So please, when you have a second with nothing to do, you're bored, just take a quick look at those, because if you do, all this process will become very, very clear to you. Okay, so now it's time to look at that evac at a glance, this form right here. Okay, Doug, thank you. Okay, take a look at this. This evac at a glance is great because it tells you everything you need to know, everything you need to do, step by step. There's one thing I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you, but I better tell you, that marker that you see, that you have, it was supposed to be like easy to rub off, but it isn't. The only thing I found that really takes it off well is hand sanitizer. So since we all have a lot of that this year, that's what you'll use to just take it off. I'm sorry about that. I hope we get better markers next year. But keep that evac at a glance near you because we're going to be referring to that as we go. So it's a really great form. I'm trying to find mine. Okay, now we'll talk about the RFA. Okay, this is the request for assistance that comes in from our dispatchers. See, it has the dispatcher name on it, date and time. The RFA will be texted to your cell phones. We thought to hand you a hard copy if we're at staging, but truthfully, it's quicker to text it. Linda and I texted stuff back and forth. It took seconds. No runner could get it to you that fast. So it would probably be a good idea to have Linda's cell phone number in your phone, so this text won't go to spam. That's really important. In fact, there are a lot of numbers that we should probably have in our phone. I think Linda sent you a list of those. So that's pretty important. But once you've received this, then we want you to text back to us your rig number, yes or no. Yes means you can take the mission, no means you can't. Okay. And these directions are all at the top of your evac, laminated evac checklist. Okay, so once you have this RFA in front of you, you kind of need to look at it. If it has the word urgent written at the top, that means we've gotten permission for you from YCSO for you to cross a roadblock, which is really good. Also, if you see that if you have a rig escort listed on this, that's a wonderful thing. It means your rig escort will be going along with you. And the rig escort will contact you, especially if you're not at staging. They'll contact you to find a good, convenient place to meet up. And if they need to, they will issue you that radio for you guys to use. Your cell phone contacts, in your cell phone contacts, you really should have the rig escorts. But truly, guys, if you don't get all these phone numbers in your cell phone contacts during an evacuation, just pick up the phone. If it's a robocall, who cares? But it might be your rig escort. So it's really important. Okay, but getting back to the RFA also has other really, really important information. There's three things that really need to be in the front of our minds. It's the owner's name, their phone number, and the address where the animals are. Owner's name, phone number, and address. Those are the most key things to know. So let's go back and refer to the evac grants. Sorry, I just dropped mine. We're going to look at that first circle, which says en route to pickup location. You see it? Okay, so co-pilots, you want to organize your forms on your clipboard. And there's a reason for these being in a certain order. The intake form on top, let's all do this. Can we do this? Intake form on top, then en route questionnaire, they're all coming out of your binder, and the EEE waiver. And let me show you, Doug, if you can put the screen to me, I will show them what that's going to look like. So where are we? Here's your intake form right on top. Underneath it, it's a 3-part form. That's why it's on top, by the way. And then your questionnaire. And then underneath that is the EEE waiver. That's important for our insurance. Everybody have that? Anybody need more time for that? Everybody cool?
Carol, can you show it one more time, please?
Sure. The animal intake form is on top. And there's a reason for that. You know why? Because this is a 3-part form. If you write on it, it's going to go to the other copies. So what would happen if you put your questionnaire on top of that and started writing? It would go through to all the other copies. So that's the reason why that's on top. And then underneath that is the questionnaire, the en route questionnaire, right here. And underneath that is the hold harmless. We'll take a moment. I'll take any questions if anybody has any questions. Yeah, Stacy, unmute yourself. Hold on, unmute yourself. Doug, can you unmute her?
I can only ask her to unmute. Stacy,
Carol?
we're not hearing yet, so hang on a second.
Carol,
Yes,
I don't have one of those laminated checklists.
I know. That's because you're a horse manager.
Oh, okay, so I shouldn't have one.
No,
Okay,
you don't need one. I asked you to come so you could sort of see the process and hear me.
okay, I didn't know if it was standard in everybody's folder or, okay,
No.
thank you.
Just for evac. Yeah,
Okay, Carol, the en route questionnaire, that's 2 pages, correct?
it is.
Okay,
Yep. The first page is on the way. The second page is when you get there.
okay.
Okay, where are we?
Hi, Carol, this is Charlotte.
Okay,
Uh,
so when
My
you get
system
there,
doesn't work
Yeah.
very good. I can either listen to you or see the picture, but not both because the volume doesn't go up.
okay. Tell you what, Charlotte, I can call you and we can walk through this. I haven't talked to you in a long time anyway. I want to talk to you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't look at the picture at the same
Okay.
time.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little. I'll call you tomorrow. That's good.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so yeah, you want to start filling out the intake form right now. Okay, where am I? All right, so get out your binder and so you put everything on. Okay, hold on. Okay, Doug, next slide, I think. I think it's the intake form slide. Kind of got off my, uh-oh. We're going back to the beginning, guys. Okay, next slide. That's it. There's your intake form. since the intake form is on top, let's talk about that first. Remember on that RFA, the request for assistance, there are the three most important things. That's the name of the owner, the phone number, and the address. We want to put those on the intake form right now. Because the next step will be calling the owner, because we really want to find out as much as we can about those animals before we get there. Okay. But before we go ahead and do that call, let's take another quick look at the intake form. There's a lot of questions on here, and some we won't have answers to, and that's okay. Quite frankly, this form is a little more complicated, and there's some things we just won't fill out because it's in compliance with LASER, which is the county shelter. We're just trying to help them out for their intake. This is covered in the SOP 7 from soup to nuts. So if you have any questions, look at SOP 7 and it will tell you. But right now, I'm just going to look at SOP 7 real quick. So look at the top right, approval required. That just means you're going to cross a roadblock. Date and time is easy. Request number is the mission number. Don't worry about that. Animal ID, that is county shelter. Don't worry about that. Underneath that, that's what you want to focus on, the owner's name, address, and phone number. Okay. Underneath the animal data, it would be nice to know the veterinarian, and we couldn't care less about the animal's name, quite frankly, but boy, oh boy, I want to know if he's a stallion for sure. So one intake form also, if you go to one place, one intake form per location is just fine. You just duly notate it. You got 3 animals per location. Okay. See the drawings down there? We have a mouse in here. Is somebody, oh, there, that's good. You do want the owner to initial or verbal or not available. You do want the owner to sign this if they're there, for sure. Now, see those drawings of horses down below? Those are for LASER as well. We will be taking photos of those animals. We won't be drawing on those animals except for one thing that we'll be drawing on there. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But as I said, the most important thing on this form is the owner's name, phone number, and address. Because now we're going to call the owner. Okay, Doug, next slide. Here's the questionnaire, and this is really great. I was going to have somebody, hey, Renee, would you like to be the co-pilot, and I'll be the panicked owner, and we'll go through this form?
Sure.
All right, good.
Stop, I'm driving. I can't see.
Wait, Carol, I have one question.
The windshield. Okay, I'll go over here.
Yes, Stacy.
Okay, the intake form, is that one form per animal? What
No.
if somebody has 2 animals?
No, we talked about that. We are
Okay.
going to use the same form for multiple animals.
Gotcha.
Address, and we'll just put it at the top, hey, we got 3 animals.
Gotcha, okay, I wasn't
We're gonna
sure.
waste so many of these forms, it will be silly. Yeah,
Gotcha,
we talked
okay,
about that, though. It's a good question. Great question.
okay.
Okay, remember, Renee, I got to tell you just one thing.
Yeah,
Most of these owners will be panicked. I truly can say that I don't think I've ever picked up an animal where the owner, male or female, young or old, wasn't crying. It's very traumatic. So our job is to be calm, collected, and all that stuff. And truthfully, you don't have to read this stuff. You just sort of go through it and say, get some information, and you can say it in your own way and write down the answers. So we will know more about the animals, and so will horse management. We'll help them a lot. Okay, so go for it.
I haven't received an RFA. Just tell me what your name is so I can pretend I have an RFA.
Okay, what you're going to be looking at is the questionnaire.
Right, I have the questionnaire, but when I'm en route, don't I know where I'm going and who I'm talking to?
Yes, that comes in on the RFA. I didn't send you an RFA because we're not doing it.
That's why I'm asking you, who do you want to be today?
Carol.
I'll be Carol.
Okay.
Go for it.
Hello?
Hello,
Hello, is this Carol?
it is.
Hi, we're from the Equine Emergency Evacuation Team. We're coming to take you and take your animals out to safety.
Well, thank
Is
you
that
so
okay?
much. Yes,
All right, great. Are you and all your people there safe?
I think so, yes.
Okay, great. Do you have my phone number?
I have it in my phone.
Would you like for me to give it to you again, or are you
I think
okay
we're
with it?
I think we're okay, thank you.
Okay, great. All right, I have your address as 123 Moon Pie Beam Road, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, all right, are you and your animals, are they, well, I can't even read this, I'll have to read it without time. Are you at the same location as your animals are?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
Excellent. Do you have a gate that we would
No,
need to go
no
through?
gate, no gate.
Okay, all right. How about dogs? Do you have any dogs loose?
Oh,
in the
yes,
property?
they're very nice, so I'm gonna take them with me.
Okay, great. And how many animals do you have that you need us to evacuate?
I have 2 horses.
Are they geldings, mares,
geldings.
stallions?
They're geldings.
Okay, great. And there's 2 of them. Where, do you have a place situated that you want us to take them to, or would you like us
I
to
think
take
my
them to a
friend's-
shelter?
I think my friend's gonna take them. I'll call her.
Okay, we'll just need your friend's contact information, phone number and address, that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Okay,
Great. We have just a couple of forms for you to sign when we get there. Is that okay?
yeah, sure.
All right. All right. While you're waiting for us, would you be able to catch your geldings and have them ready to go?
I think so.
Okay. And also, if you have some hay that you want us to take with us,
Yes, yes,
their fly masks or any meds or anything like
Yes.
that needs to go, that would be great
Yes.
to have that ready.
okay.
Great. Also, if you have any type of ID that you can put on your horses, and so we can not lose track of them. I'll say that in real life.
Okay, I'll try.
They said from the video.
Okay.
All right, Carol, I think we're only about 5 minutes away,
Oh, thank you.
so we'll be there.
Okay, that was good. That was very good. All right. What do you think of this? This is much less redundant than the first one. I'll tell you, last time we did this, our questionnaire, I was like, everybody got annoyed at me. They said, why are you asking me 3 times if my horses will load? It's getting annoying. So this is much clearer, crisper, I hope.
It
So
flows better.
on site, I think everybody can just sort of read that. And it's sort of the same thing. Say it in your own words. Make it as personable as you can.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, so now let's go back to the evac at a glance, or that laminated sheet. Okay, now we're at pickup location. Does everybody see that? It's the second circle down.
Mhm.
All right. So what it says is, and I'm reading it, fill out the intake form and the owner signs it. And the owner gets that pink copy. That's the lowest copy. And it's one, like we said, it's one intake form per location. Multiple animals on one intake form. Okay, you just have to write it down. Then the owner will sign the EEE waiver and the laser waiver if the animals are going to laser. We will put ID on the animals and we'll talk about that. And with our duct tape and Sharpie, we'll label all the food and equipment. Then we'll photo the animals with the owner if we can. And if you see anything, any injuries at all, definitely photo those. I mean, don't say, oh my God, look at that leg, but just take a photo of it. And then the easiest part, loading them. But let's go back and talk about how we're going to mark these animals. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry, Doug. Doug? Hello. Keep going the other way. There we go. Stop. We need to mark the animals in the field. How? Well, unless the owner has marked them, and it's quite possible, we'll use that bright pink livestock marker and mark them pretty much the way the owner wants it. Why? Because we may never see these animals again. The owner might have somebody else bringing them back. And when the owner to be happy with the marking, within reason. I mean, we're not going to draw the Sistine Chapel on them, But as you see, Julie Fielder, she wrote quite a bit on that animal. And once you've marked them, and this is where it's going to get interesting. Now it's time to go back to the intake form. Doug, can you bring us back 2 slides to the intake form? There we go. Once you've done this, and this is really going to help us and help especially evac management, because you come in with 3 horses and you got 1 intake form and it's a black and a brown horse, that's going to be tough. But if we put that ID information on the butt of that horse, just the way it is on the horse itself, really going to make it much easier for us, for horse management, to match that horse up with that photo. If multiple horses come in from one location, all the horses are going to have the same marking on them. We're not going to put Eddie on one and Sissy on the other. All the horses will have that same marking, probably the owner's name, possibly their phone number, but whatever it is, it's going to go on that horse. This is new from about a month ago. This is in lieu of having 1 intake form per horse. This is actually better because they can really match up the horse to that photo. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay, so the last thing to do is make sure the hay and everything that you're bringing out with that horse has the gray duct tape and the Sharpie all ready to go. And now it's the interesting part, loading. Truthfully, guys, I've always asked, and this is up to you, I've always asked the owner if they'd like to load their own horses. I have never had an owner say yes. Mainly because they probably don't know how to load a horse and never have done it and don't know if the horses would load. But if they want to do it and they seem competent and calm and everything, it's up to you. I feel personally, if they own the horse and they really want to load them, I think they should be doing it, but it's your trailer. So that is your call. Got to tell you, that is your call. Okay, Doug, next slide. Okay, so we're at the drop off finally. And if it's at staging, the horse and management is there to help you. Their team will help you unload the hay and all that stuff. They'll take your paperwork. They'll help you clean and disinfect your trailer. And they will also take photos of the animals coming in, which is a great thing for us. If it's any place other than staging that you're taking them to, like this fabulous barn, which I wish I was taken to, you want to make sure that the owner's request of taking them wherever they're going, we want to make sure that that person who's receiving them knows that they're coming. It's really, really important. You don't want to just take a horse and say, what the heck are you doing here? And you want to check with comms or evac management to see if we can spare you the extra time it will take for you to go someplace else. Let us know that address so we know where you're headed. It's very, very important. Okay, so let's look at the back of your laminated sheet. And it says if drop off is any place other than staging. Like it says on that sheet, whoever receives the animals will sign the intake form and given the yellow copy, that's the middle copy of the intake form. You now will want to take photos for sure, because you're dropping them off at another location. This is for protection of EEE and for your protection. If somebody comes back and says, hey, I think you injured my horse, you can say, well, here's the photo. Your horse was fine when he got there. There was no cuts. So that's pretty important for us to do that. Now, if you're ready for another mission from there, let evac or comms or both of us know. If we ask you to come back to staging, or if you want to come back to staging, let us know. The paperwork needs to be filed, and you can drop it off with a horse manager, drop it off with evac management, or you could keep it. If you're going home, don't worry, just keep the paperwork and we can file it later. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, one last word, of course, safety. It's in this order: your safety, teammates, animals. For your teams, the co-pilot is considered the safety officer of that team. And if the co-pilot says, guys, this is dicey, we got to turn around, the team needs to comply with that. It might be the driver that says, hey, this is dicey, let's turn around. It will probably be everybody. but we will keep you as safe as possible. One last word. I got to tell you guys, we are not here to teach you how to handle horses, lead horses, load horses. Although Mark and Brad did a great video loading horses with panels. It was very interesting. You guys were handpicked because you're the best in the county for what you do. You're like Triple E's Navy SEALs, and it's no joke. And everybody else in Triple E, and that includes me, Doug's team, staging team, we are here to support you, and that is our collective goal. If you need anything while you're in the field, resources, if you see loose horses on the road, you get a flat tire, we are here to help you. The only thing we need to teach you is this stuff and this process. That's the only way we can be in compliance with the responsibility that we have of being a 911 resource, which is a big responsibility. It's just different from last year. This is the only way we can get behind roadblocks, get these animals out. So far, I gotta say, this is the most efficient process we've come up with, but we're exploring, we're evolving, newer technologies, or we're gonna be doing even better. We're already talking to folks at Embry-Riddle for upgrading our documentation and our systems. So it's really, really pretty exciting. Okay, next slide, I guess. This is just to help you. This was on the orientation. Everybody, I hope, knows the password. That's where all the SOPs are, if you want to take a gander at those. The password's Horse Safety 101. Okay, thank you, Doug. Next slide. This photo, I found this riveting 2 years ago when I first saw it. And I still, every time I look at it, it touches my heart. This horse is standing there with this fire coming in. You can't really see it, but it's coming in over that hillside. And you just can't imagine the chaos behind him with that truck and all the firefighters and everything going on. But he's not looking at them. He's looking at us. People are coming to get that horse. And I always envisioned that if he was in Yavapai County, he'd be saying, thank you, Triple E, and thank you, evacuation team, for coming to get him. So thanks, you guys. Let's open it up for questions.
I have a question.
Yeah, Stacy.
Okay, what do you suggest for sanitizing your trailer?
Oh, we have a gallon of Rescue. It's called Rescue. They use this in stables, and it's concentrate. We've got a canister to what is the word? On the solution, make the solution correct. And we're going to be spraying down those trailers.
Oh, so do we need to buy it, or?
We've got it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I don't need to buy it.
Actually, Dr. Fisher gave us that solution for us. It was really,
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
and he is our vet at horse management. He's our vet
Okay.
at staging.
All right, thanks.
Come on, guys. You got to have questions. Really? Was it that clear?
So Sunday, we're going to be doing a practice, correct?
Yes. Craig, are you going to come with us?
Yes, I'll be there.
Wonderful. I'm going to try to stagger people so everybody doesn't have to show up at once. This is at American Ranch. Sue Cousins, Trish, and Barbara Renke will be there. They are our horse managers. We will have a sign-in. It will be Margaret Kearns, and I think her husband, Tim, will be there to sign you in. And if you don't mind bringing some paperwork so we can just give them some paperwork, would that be okay, guys? Mm-hmm. Okay. And we do have to sign a waiver for American Ranch. I'll send that to you tomorrow. But it should be a really good drill. I think we've got 4 trailers coming in now from Triple E, 1 trailer that's a non-Triple E, and about 4 people riding in as if they were riding.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it'll be good. And if anybody else wants to join us, please, we'd be delighted to have more trailers. Just let me know.
So this drill, is unofficial? Should we have our markings on our truck or anything like that?
Couldn't hear him.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Craig?
Oh, can you, I somehow lost my, can you guys hear me?
That's good now, yeah.
Okay, sorry, so this drill on Sunday, as this drill, is it an official one that we should have our markings on the truck or anything like that?
Yeah, let's do it. 'Cause it would be a great photo op, and wear your hats. But don't mark up your horses, okay?
No.
All right,
It's her horses, not mine. I'm
yeah.
not bringing my horses with it.
Yeah, just remember, if you use that, it lasts a week. I know, because we've used them at endurance rides a lot, so.
Okay.
So Carol, could you give us the timeline on Sunday's drill?
Yeah, we'll get there at 1:30. Margaret, was that Margaret? Yeah, be great if you could be there at 1:30. And then people start showing up around 2. So horse managers and Margaret, if we could all, and we'll be there at 1:30. And then the rigs will start showing up at 2. I think Jen, you're gonna be the first rig. Then maybe Craig, you'd like to be the second one. Chrissy and Kim, would you like to come later? Or did you want to come earlier? I can't remember. Later, because you're gonna ride before, right? I can't hear you, sorry.
Kim, you're muted.
Call me tomorrow. We'll figure this out. So
There is a weather system coming in Sunday. Just warn you.
Sunday, great. Okay. Well,
So we're gonna be ready to receive people by
we're gonna get the
1:45.
snow.
1:45.
Okay.
We'll
And
be
so
ready to receive.
Carol, you had me scheduled at 2. Do you want us to come at a different time?
You want to come a little later? Because I think
Sure.
Jen wants to come right at 2 because they want to ride after.
Sure. What time would you like us to be there?
How about 2:15?
Oh, okay.
We don't, I mean, it doesn't take that long to intake. And truly, guys, you're going to bring them in. They're going to process them, tie them up. You're going to take them right back out. Shouldn't take long at all.
And where are we meeting? At the arena, the outdoor arena?
Yeah, I'll send you the gate code. You have to sign a
Yeah.
waiver for American Ranch. I think you know that because you've done events there. And then we'll come in. You'll park the same places you did for the
self-defense?
horseback.
Okay.
Yeah. And John will be there to greet people and tell them, how to line up and all that stuff. We'll have that figured out before 2:00. We've scouted out American Ranch, but I think we probably should be doing it again before this. And that's where we're
So-
going to have our big drill this spring too.
So Carol, you want the horse managers to be there at 1:30 instead of
Yeah.
2, I would think.
Yeah, that would be
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just verifying.
And how many horses? Do you want just 1 per rig, 2 per rig?
Oh, you can have 2, 1, doesn't matter, Jen. Anything that's comfortable for you guys. If you're
Okay.
riding afterwards, I think you'll probably have 2, right? You and Rihanna?
Yeah, depending on weather now. Thanks,
Yeah,
Craig.
No problem.
We can postpone it. If the weather's crappy, we'll just postpone it until, next weekend or something.
No, we'll come with the weather. I just may or may not ride in it. So
I hear you.
Hopefully it's not snowing.
Okay. Guys, I can't thank you enough. What else? Who else has a question about anything?
did you guys give any more thought about putting our number on one of those Velcro fetlock straps for just in case, God forbid, they get loose?
From staging?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean from staging or?
Yeah, because it was just kind of a just in case.
Yeah. We've got about 30 of those straps and, I think there are pros and cons, truthfully, with those straps.
Yeah.
There are some horses dancing around. I wouldn't want to get down there and put a fetlock strap on, you know what I'm saying? So,
I kind of thought that the fetlock strap was for the owner to put on. So I have
Yep.
them
Yep.
at my place.
Yep.
And I've already, put my phone number on them.
Perfect.
And I thought that was like, I would put that on there as extra insurance.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, if the owner has ID'd the animal before you get there, and that's a great thing, you don't have to use the marker. Even then, on that drawing of the horse, you'll say, you'll point an arrow and say, this is the mark on that band, or this is the mark on that, the mainstay, the little main clip things, and you'll just write it out. So still the horse management will have a chance to line those horses up with the intake form. So it's just another little step for you guys to do. Who
Carol,
else? What-
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I don't really, what Sunday is, do we bring in, does this for everybody or do we just come and watch or?
Oh, you can come and watch if you'd like. Like I said, we all have to sign a waiver for American Ranch. Let me know if you'd like to come. You can bring horses too if you'd like.
So if we come and watch, we're going to see the process of somebody picking up a horse and take,
Dropping off.
or dropping it off.
Dropping off, yeah.
Dropping. Okay,
But
that's
it's good. It's good for anybody that wants to come and watch this because these horse managers, they are organized. I mean, they've got, you'll see it. It's incredible what they've done.
so
So,
we just count on to come over at what time? Like quarter
2 o'clock or a little earlier, that'd be great.
earlier? Just come over and watch.
Sure. Or bring a horse, whatever you want to do is good.
You need more horses to come or are you good?
I think
I think, how many do we have? We got Craig, we have Jen, we have Kim and Christy.
we'll just watch. That's fine. That's
Yeah. What was that? We've got, she wants 8 trailers? Are you serious?
No.
Trish.
I would just like to watch. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Chris, you're muted
You
if
could
you
come
want
and
to
pick up
unmute
my
Chris.
horses. That would be fine.
Okay, good.
Hey, Carol,
Yes.
are we gonna have some of the ID badges there for any of the people? Because I've got a few here and I can give them to Margaret. So that we can give
all
up any ID badges when they're there.
Good question. Doug, I could give them to you if you're going to be there. Are you planning to be there, Doug?
I was not planning to
Okay,
be
don't
there.
worry.
I can give them.
I would say, Carol,
I have.
give the badges to me.
Right.
And Susie and I discussed it and we will check people in. And one of the things is we want to know when they leave. So
Yes.
when you check in,
Yep.
we'll give you the badge. And we only ask that when you're ready to go, you give it back to us so that we know you're off site and we don't have to go look for you.
Right. And that's it. The check-in for EEE volunteers is very different for the people who are riding in. So that's a whole different sign-in. That's a whole different set of stuff. So we'll talk, Margaret, about that process beforehand because that's, we don't want anybody just sort of coming in and grabbing horses. We got to kind of keep track of those people coming in. It's very important. Horse management will be there like, you're not coming near these horses unless you have the correct identification.
Okay, I will give her the stuff in the box. She'll have all the files and
I think all the evacuators, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think you all have your badges. Like I'm almost 90% sure, maybe everybody. Yeah. So I think it's mainly comms because they joined later after this COVID deal. So Doug, we have them all. It's just they don't have them.
Yeah, I know I have all the visors all ready to go. I do not have the little badges for them, but I guess they're either in with Susie or somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got all that stuff. It's sort of on my desk. So for all the comms guys and the rig escort guys. So
I'm going to stop the recording if that's okay.
Good.
Carol, we have one more question because we're hearing different information on the intake form.
Yes.
We heard you say at one point to take photos and that will identify the horses. And then you also said we need to write on the form, like if we want to point out any identification.
Yes.
But we also, this is for laser. So do we write on this section?
Yes. The only thing, Craig, laser will put on spots. They'll put on, if it's Pinto, they'll draw. We're taking photos. But the only thing we really want on there is that ID.
Where it's
I
located.
don't think laser's going to object to that. I really don't. We kind of, we kind of segregated that area out for them. But as far as the ID, they're going to want it as well. So throw it on there.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
I know it's different from what it was last year. The important time to take photos is when you get the animal and when you drop it off, especially if it's someplace other than staging. At staging, I think, are you guys, the staging manager, is planning to assign somebody to take pictures of animals? Robert,
Yes, that's what we decided. We'd
Yeah.
find somebody, a staging volunteer to help with that process.
Okay,
Can I go back to what he was just asking about?
yes.
Again, this one form, I'm kind of a little hung up on that. They will be putting on how many horses and some kind of short description of
Yeah.
every horse, correct?
Yes.
But you said this is really for laser. They'll be using this part.
Laser,
If the horses end up going to the shelter, what is laser going to do? They're going to have to do their own forms then?
no,
For each
laser
horse?
use our form because we're in compliance with them. And so they'll
There's
just
one
fill
horse
in
on here.
the other
What
stuff.
if 3 horses come in?
Yeah.
Do they need spots and coloring for every horse, right?
Yeah, but they'll probably do the one horse and then they'll get more forms for the next horse. And that's a good question. That's what they'll do. But I'm
They'll
trying.
do the extra forms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts the onus on them
Right.
to do that. Okay.
Yeah. So,
right.
yeah. This is the best way we could think of to do it without wasting a lot of paper, with having a lot of paperwork for evac people. I mean, they're sort of out there on the front line for us, so we're trying to make it possible for them.
Oh, understood.